Ladies and gentlemen of the Action Army, what is going on? And welcome to another episode of Answers for Athletes. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how to develop fast twitch muscle fibers and jump higher. And I want to give a little caveat that everything that I'm about to say to you, I learned from Dr. Andy Galpin. So if you really want to learn about fiber typing, search up Dr. Andy Galpin, because I am just a strength coach who teaches athletes how to jump higher. Dr. Andy Galpin is a strength coach and a professor and a doctor and a scientist who is actually in the lab sticking needles into muscles doing muscle biopsies. So that is the caveat. I am a very small brain compared to him. So look him up if you want to learn more about this. But today I'm going to give you 10 things that you need to know about fiber typing to become as explosive as possible. And because I have 10 things, I am going to go a little bit quickly through these. So if you have any questions, leave your questions down below and I will make sure to answer those in the comment section. Also, comment JUMP, J-U-M-P, down below in the comment section for a free bodyweight vertical jump training program. Here we go. 10 things you need to know about fiber typing to become as explosive as possible. Number one, muscle fibers exist on a spectrum. Okay, well, oftentimes we think about muscle fibers, we think about slow twitch fibers and fast twitch fibers, and we think that that's all there is. Dr. Andy Galpin gives a great example where he says there's not just tall people and short people, right? You might have somebody who's 4 feet tall, but then we got 4'1", 4'2", 4'3", all the way up to 7'3", 7'4", 7'5", 7'6". So you got 4 foot, you got 7'6", and you got every height in between. You got slow twitch, you got fast twitch, and you got every fiber in between. Okay, so there's multiple types of fibers. That's the first thing that you need to know. But slow twitch fibers are going to be slower at contracting. Get that? Fast twitch fibers are going to contract faster. Fast twitch fibers use mainly carbohydrates as fuel, which we'll talk about soon. Slow twitch fibers use mainly fats as fuel. Slow twitch fibers are more endurance-based. Fast twitch fibers are more power-based. Okay, so that's number one. That's just, we got to get the basics out of the way before I teach you how to be an explosive athlete and start shifting your fibers from more slow twitch to more fast twitch. That's number one. Number two, the type of fibers that you have in any given muscle will predict how you perform. So I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to bet that Zion Williamson has more fast twitch muscle fibers than Luka Doncic. Okay, I think we can all agree of that. So if we take Zion's individual muscles, you got his quads, his hamstrings, his calves, his glutes. He's going to have a higher percentage of those of his fiber types are going to be more fast twitch than Luka. Okay, so just realize that. And I have a lot more to say about that, but we'll keep that one right there. Number three, each muscle has a different predisposition to being either more slow twitch or more fast twitch. So the soleus, the low back muscles, those are going to be more slow twitch. The postural muscles are going to be more slow twitch. Then you got the glutes, you got the quads. Those are going to be about 50-50 until you start shifting them with exercise and training. The hamstrings are going to be more fast twitch. The hamstrings are the biggest fast twitch muscles in the human body. And a little fun fact, human beings are about 85% slow twitch. What do you think I am, a cheetah? Maybe if you're Tyreek Hill, but not me. I'm about 85% slow twitch. We all are, to start. So that's number three. Each muscle has a different predisposition to being either more slow twitch or more fast twitch. Each individual muscle is different. Number four, we talked about this a little bit, but I'll say it again. Fast twitch fibers use mostly carbohydrates for fuel. Slow twitch fibers use mostly fats for fuel. So if you're a basketball player, which I talk about all the time, or you're an explosive athlete, you have no business being on the keto diet or being on a low carb diet, because if you want to be explosive, if you want to be powerful, if you want to jump higher, you have to realize that fast twitch muscle fibers need carbohydrates for fuel. So that's just a very quick one. I'm not going to go too far into that. Leave your questions down below, as I said. But number 4, fast twitch fibers are mostly using carbs for fuel. Slow twitch fibers are using mostly fats for fuel. Number 5, fiber type is not everything. So we can't just say that. The reason that Zion or John Morant or Zach LaVine, the reason that they jump high is because of their fiber typing. They must just be purely all fast twitch. There's more that goes into it. So let's say that we have athlete A over here and athlete B over here. And we'll give them the same exact height, the same wingspan, the same Achilles tendon length. The anthropometrics are the same. The fiber type we will give the same. So we'll say they have the exact same percentage of slow twitch and fast twitch fibers and everything in between. However, athlete B jumps much higher. It could be that they have all the same stuff, but athlete A, maybe they don't do as much for their training, where athlete B, let's say they work on their jump mechanics and their technique. We'll say that they actually do the optimal amount of plyometrics and explosive training and heavy lifting and power development and sprints. Athlete B is going to be jumping much higher than athlete A, even though they're the same height, they're the same wingspan, they have the same exact fiber typing. Athlete B will jump higher because there's more that goes into it. So we have to think about technique. We have to think about the central nervous system. We have to think about the differences in training. Athlete B might transfer force better through his connective tissue. So there's a lot more that goes into it. Fiber type is not everything. It's only a part of it. That's number 5. So you can't just sit here and say, well, as soon as I'm all fast twitch, as soon as I'm just twitchy like that, I'm going to be jumping as high as possible. There's a bunch of stuff that goes into it. Fiber type is just one of them. Number 6, you can 100% shift your fiber typing. So that's what this whole video is really about. You want to know how we begin to shift our fiber typing and we begin to get more fast twitch and more explosive so that we can jump higher and be a better athlete, right? So you can, that's number 6, you can 100% shift your fiber type. And Dr. Andy Galpin gives a good story where he actually studied monozygous twins, so identical twins. And they were in their mid-50s, and they had been doing different training for about 30 years. So the genes are identical. Their genetics are pretty much 100% identical. We have identical twins. But athlete A over here, he didn't do much training at all. And athlete B over here, he actually did marathons and long distance running and ultra marathons and Ironmans and all that type of stuff. And he said that athlete A was about 50% slow twitch and 50% fast twitch. But athlete B was about 95% slow twitch because for 30 years, all he did was long distance running, marathons, Ironmans, etc. And that's not to just say that if you don't do any training, you can just get more fast twitch muscle fibers, which you can. But if you don't do any training, those fast twitch muscle fibers are not going to be propelling you into the air, jumping very high, especially if you have excess body fat, et cetera, et cetera. So you can't just sit on your ass and just say, well, I'm going to just get a bunch of fast twitch muscle fibers and I'm going to be a beast. But we do know that, on the other hand, if you do a bunch of slow twitch fiber type training, do a bunch of endurance type training, you will start shifting into more slow twitch fiber types. But on the other hand, if you do more explosive training, we'll get to that. So that is number 6. You can 100% shift your fiber type. These were identical twins, and they had much different fiber typing. Number 7, there's a spectrum for how fast you can shift your fiber type. So let's say that, just for the sake of it being an easy example, let's say that you and I start at 50% slow, 50% fast twitch. It's going to be fairly easy for us to shift our fiber type if we haven't been doing that type of training before. So training background Training history really plays a big role in it. Somebody like Zion, who is fairly high on the fast twitch type 2A explosive category, it's going to be harder for him to continue to shift to more fast twitch explosive fiber typing because he's already way at the top end of the elite athletes on the spectrum. So it's just think about vertical jump. That's a great example for all of you watching. It's very hard for Isaiah Rivera with a 51-inch vert, 50.5, 51, whatever he's at now. It's harder for him to increase his vertical jump than a beginner who has a 22-inch vertical jump. Why? Because he's at the top end of the spectrum, whereas the beginner, they have a lot of room for growth. So you can shift your fiber type, but the more elite, the more advanced you get, the more you have been training explosively and for max power, max strength, high speeds, it's going to be harder and harder and harder. The farther you are on that spectrum, the higher, the more elite of an athlete that you are. On the other hand, it's very easy, or it's fairly easier to shift the other way. So if Zion wanted to go and be an ultra marathon runner, he would start to see, and he started running long distances every single day. It's hard for him to shift more towards the fast twitch, but if he starts doing endurance-based training every single day and running 10, 15, 20 miles every single day, he's going to see some pretty quick shifts to that slow twitch. Okay, so that is number 7. There's a spectrum for how fast you can actually shift your fiber typing. If you have already been training explosively and powerfully and fast and heavy, then it's going to be a little bit slower for you to continue to shift. Number 8, and here's where we get into the real stuff that you guys care about. The way to begin to shift to fast twitch type 2A muscle fibers is by doing plyometrics. It's by doing heavy max strength work. It's by doing heavy or max power or max explosive work. It's by doing max speed work and sprints. These are the types of exercises and training styles that shift us towards fast twitch fibers. So everything that you've been doing up until this point. So if you want to start shifting, you got to be hitting your plyos. Don't skip your plyometrics. You got to be hitting your sprints and your max speed work. You got to be hitting your power work in moving weight fast. The intent is very important. You got to be lifting heavy, right? Lifting heavy is a great way to start to shift to fast twitch muscle fibers, right? So this is the meat and potatoes of it. Plyometrics, heavy max strength work, max power, max explosive work, max speed work. This is the meat and potatoes. This is the good stuff. This is where we begin to shift from slow twitch to fast twitch, or fast twitch to even more fast twitch. Now, I do want to say this isn't to say that you should never do any slow training, because remember, hypertrophy work can be slow. The tendons love slow strength work. Like a slow Nordic, where you're eccentrically loading your hamstrings at a slow rate of speed, is not a bad thing for you to do. It's just about the cycles, the phases of your training. So you can still have that slower work, but you really do want, if the fast twitch is what you're aiming for, you really do want the majority of it, or the phases, to be, max strength work, and then max power work, and then max speed work. Okay, so that is number 8. Number 9, your 52-week plan really needs to be locked in, because most of you watching are basketball players. Basketball players need a lot of different things. You have to be explosive. You need muscular endurance. You need cardiovascular endurance. You can't be gassing out. So we have a lot of different energy demands. So your 52-week plan, your year-long plan, the blocks of your training really have to be locked in, right? You can't be trying to focus on getting in the best cardiovascular endurance shape of your life when it doesn't matter in the off season. In the off season is the time to really work on your plyos, your max strength, your power, your max speed, your explosive work, shifting more towards your fast twitch muscle fibers. And then as you get closer to the season where you need to be in shape so that you don't gas out in your basketball games, that is when you start to add in your cardiovascular endurance, because you can't do everything at once. You can't have, if like you have 10 points to give. You can't give 10 points to cardiovascular endurance and 10 points to muscular strength and 10 points to muscular endurance and 10 points to power. You only have 10 points. You only have so much energy. So the blocks of your training during the year really have to be in check. Okay, so during the season, we still want to be working on our max strength, our max power, our max speed, but it's going to be lower volume because we also need some points to go towards cardiovascular endurance so that we're in shape. So I'm not going to talk about the best blocks and the best phases for you to do because I have plenty of videos on that. But number 9 is that your year-long plan has to really be in check. What are you going to do in the off season? What are you going to do in the preseason? What are you going to do during the season? What are you going to do postseason? What are those going to look like? Make sure that you're giving the energy to the right buckets at the right times. That's number 9. Number 10, when you do your explosive training matters a lot. So we've talked about it. Plyometrics are going to shift you towards fast twitch fibers. Heavy lifting will shift you towards fast twitch fibers. Heavy power training at high speeds like a hang clean or a high pull or a power clean. These exercises, these fast with high loads exercises are going to shift you towards fast twitch fibers. Your max velocity work like sprints or single leg hops, these are going to, or drop jumps, these are going to shift you towards fast twitch fibers. But when you do these exercises and how you do these exercises is really going to matter a lot. If you're in season, this is a good example to give, and you have a basketball game and you're a starter and you don't come out of the game and you play the entire game, and then you go to do your heavy explosive training and your speed training and your power training and your plyometrics after the game when you're already fatigued, that is not going to be an optimal way to shift to fast twitch muscle fibers. So the best time to do all the things that are going to move you and shift you towards fast twitch fibers is when you are not fatigued. It's when you have the most energy. So it's going to be before your game, or it's going to be hours apart from your game when you have recouped and you have that energy and you have carbohydrates in your system, because we're not doing the keto diet or a low carb diet, right? So I'd say most of us are creeping. The reason I keep talking about in season is because we're creeping up to the high school season right now and the college season right now. And I know a lot of you watching are in high school and in college. So what you're going to want to do is train before your games so that you can do all these high intensity plyometrics and you can do your power work and your explosive work when you have the most energy and you have the most fuel. Okay. Or you could do it 6 hours apart in the morning. You can do it after, but if you get a lot of minutes and you're fatigued, that's not going to be the best case. You could do it the next day, but I still say keep high days high and low days low and combine your training with your games and your practices. So that is number 10. When you do your explosive training matters a lot. If you want to shift and develop the most fast twitch muscle fibers that you can, you don't want to do your plyos and everything that's going to lead towards shifting towards your fast twitch fibers. You don't want to do these types of exercises when you are fatigued. And this is also to say, this is a great point. Whenever you are fatigued from this type of training, you need to stop. You're not just in the weight room working to work. You're working for a goal. So I always tell my athletes online, when you do a dunk session, as soon as you see a drop off in performance, you need to stop. When you're doing a squat session, if you see a drop off in performance and you're no longer moving the bar explosively, you're no longer moving it quickly, you see that, well, I was moving it quickly for the first 7 sets, but now I'm fatigued. I can't move it that quickly. Just stop. Just get out of the gym, because we don't want fatigued reps when trying to be as explosive as possible. Okay. So that was a lot. I know that I just threw a lot at you, but if you have any questions, leave them down below in the comment section and I will answer them, or I'll make another video just like this. If you want your question answered, leave it down below. I am most likely to answer your questions when you leave them in the comment section of my videos on the Answers for Athletes channel. Other than that, you could check out our programs. I have an in-season training program that has all this added in. We got Beyond the Rim 2, Beyond the Rim Project Plyo, Beyond the Rim Strong and Bouncy. We got Indestructible Knees if you got knee pain. We have Indestructible Knees and Ankles if you have knee and ankle pain. We got a lot of new programs coming, a lot of exciting stuff. Subscribe to all my other channels, my main channel, my Answers for Athletes channel, my podcast clips channel, and my Nathaniel Morton workouts channel. We're doing all this stuff. We're trying to help you out as much as possible. And without further ado, I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.